Welcome, everyone. I am Rebecca Snyder, Executive Alliance Executive Director, and we are here for our QuickStart Board Readiness Program info session. So I'm going to step through just a short deck to tell you what the board readiness program is, why it matters, what you'll get out of it, and how to apply. So the Quick Start Board Readiness Program really focuses on that next step for women leaders. Oftentimes, women will work really hard, of course, to get into the C-suite and then say, when I retire or later, I want to sit on a compensated corporate board. And so I want to make very clear that this program is focused on corporate boards. So heavy hitter nonprofits, state boards and commissions, nonprofit boards are all really important pieces of civic responsibility and a woman's leadership journey. But this program is really specifically geared to women who want to campaign for a compensated board seat. It's a 6 month program, high impact experience for senior executive women. So let's talk about first why that is important. So board readiness matters now. And so what we see, Executive Alliance has since 2017 been calculating the number of women who sit on boards of publicly traded companies headquartered in Maryland. And we also tie that information into national statistics. And what we have seen over the years, and I misspoke, it's 2007, not 2017, that we've been tracking this. So over the decades that we've been working with this information, we have found that there's very incremental progress in terms of women's representation on corporate boards. And Maryland lags behind national averages. In the sort of flower of DEI post-pandemic, post-COVID, that rate of change increased a little bit, but we're seeing also with federal pressures pushing those initiatives back down that women's progress is slowing. So right about now, women in Maryland hold about 28% of the board seats, the publicly traded companies that are headquartered in Maryland. Women have about 28% of those board seats. What we found in 2026, and this is taken from some Reuters reporting that just came out this fall, that nationally in 2026, 60% of the new S&P 500 directorships went to white men. About 25% of those no board seats went to women. So we're seeing things slow down. We're seeing women's sort of foothold in that space diminishing. And we want to recognize and support women that want to participate in this board process. So this program helps you make the shift from executive leader to board candidate so that when the tides turn, when companies are increasing their board positions, right now it's kind of stagnant, women will be prepared. And so sometimes it's not it's not enough to say, I'm interested in board service. You have to position yourself, prepare yourself, and make the connections so that you are ready when the right opportunity appears. So this is totally in the vein of making your luck, not just waiting around for it. So let's think about, is Quick Start right for you? So in order to really get the most out of the program, we're looking for women who within the next up to 5 years want to find their first compensated corporate board seat. So when we think about what boards are looking for, it is candidates with C-level experience. It is experience and expertise in the topics and areas that boards need. And it also is people who can raise the visibility and make the connections that boards need. And there's a lot of different types of boards. You know, when we think of corporate board seats, very often people are thinking, well, I'll just go to the Apple board or whatnot. And that's not particularly realistic. There are lots of private companies, family companies, advisory boards with startups. There are a lot of different opportunities at a lot of different revenue points. So it's not an all or nothing, but it is important to make sure that you're ready. So we do want to have that clear intent. And the program, if you're looking to sit on a compensated board earlier than that 5-year window, we're all for it. You will be prepared to start pretty much right after the program, but we want to make sure that women are kind of thinking long term as well. Now let's think about what makes QuickStart different because there's a lot of different board readiness programs out there in the world. This is focused on Maryland, Maryland women. So Executive Alliance is a membership organization that is focused on Maryland. Most of our members are coming from the greater Baltimore area. And we, as an organization, really team our advocacy and our education with mentoring and a strong dose of networking and relationship building. So within the program, which is it spans 6 months and there's 5 sessions. Most are remote, but we do meet in person, sort of at the beginning and the end, and in different parts. We have expert-led sessions led by Suzanne Maglucci. She was a board readiness coach from North Carolina and has done a lot of work with one of our sister organizations on Board NC. And so that's the content. But when we get into the mentorship and the advocacy, this is where Executive Alliance really shines. We have created a cohort of women that we call our honorary trustees, women who are already serving on corporate boards, who can provide one-on-one feedback, who can help you build more relationships, and provide more of that mentoring aspect to sharpen your positioning. And those women are available throughout the program. We also, as just part of what Executive Alliance does, we advocate and raise up the issues that are important to us, which is women taking their power at the highest levels of leadership. So through Executive Alliance events, through our speaker network, through our social media channels and our publications and podcast, we give you some really specific opportunities to raise your visibility. And as an organization, we're always talking about these issues. So that combined with the fact that this is a really small cohort, we limit this to 8 women. We want to make sure that it is a strong and cohesive group. Let's talk a little bit about what that journey looks like. Everyone has a lot of demands on their time. So in September, we launch and connect. We share the board landscape, talk about value proposition and the target market that each member of the cohort will be going after. We do that in person. And follow that up with a happy hour with our honorary trustees. And then in October and November, February and March, we are focused online only. We usually meet early in the morning for 90 minutes, and we're focusing on your board bio, your resume, and really how you're positioning yourself. Then we focus on going to the market. In February, we look at board interviewing, mock interviews, chemistry checks, and then in March, we do a showcase of your materials. We celebrate your readiness. We also tie that in with our honor roll celebration, which highlights companies who are walking the talk, who have at least 30% of their C-suite and 30% of their board identify as women. In January, we really work to expand your reach, looking at how you can network individually, how you can really be aware and sort of get the word out about board credentialing, about credentials and finding your champions. here's what you'll leave with. Now, this is not a board placement service. This is a readiness and campaign development program. So we envision when you finish the program in March, you will have the portfolio, the campaign path that you want to follow, and the understanding and ability to really start putting yourself out there and campaigning for your first corporate board seat. The first one is the hardest, because that's when a candidate is in some ways unknown to that marketplace, and so it's important to have the portfolio that supports your work. So you'll have that portfolio, including the board bio, your board resume, and an interview-ready elevator pitch. And I think it's important to recognize that board leadership and board participation is really a different kettle of fish than when one is trying to seek different types of employment. So it is a reframing of your expertise. Part of that is developing a compelling leadership narrative that connects the story of what you've done operationally and as a C-suite leader, and translating that into the board directors directives of governance and strategic oversight. We also want you to leave with a campaign strategy so that you understand where your experience and expertise fits in the marketplace, that you would have created a list of potentially target boards and activating your network so that you know where to head next. And then finally, and this is always the special sauce for Executive Alliance, being surrounded by a circle of champions, women who understand your journey, who want to see you succeed, and will be your advocates and sponsors as you go forward. Suzanne Maglucci is our board readiness consultant, and she has worked with us. This is the second year of our program, so she's been with us from the start, and has really helped us develop this curriculum based on what she does as a one-on-one board coach. So she has a 20-year track record of C-suite leadership and governance experience. She's worked with publicly traded and privately held companies. She is a certified NACD board director. She has sat on corporate boards and really brings the whole package in terms of how women can put themselves together for these opportunities. She's super committed, and we're really grateful to have her expertise. And so if you're interested in how to work towards the program, we know it will take some time. So we want you to have about 35 hours to commit between September and March. We do not have any sessions in December. And that hour time frame really includes the sessions, mentoring, working on the assignments, because you will be responsible for, lack of a better term, homework between sessions in terms of doing some deep discernment, developing some of your materials so that we are guiding and giving feedback in the sessions without developing in the moment. If this is the first year that we have opened this program up to non-members of Executive Alliance. So if you're a member of Executive Alliance, you have to be in good standing for the current year. And our membership year begins in July and ends in June. And there is a surcharge of $950 for the program if you're an Executive Alliance member. If you're not a member of Executive Alliance, you can participate in the program for the rate of $3,500. And if you want to become a member, obviously we're happy to talk to you about that as well. And then finally, if you're ready to take that next step, and we'll reserve some time for Q&A, but our application deadline is a rolling deadline, but we really need to be gelled by September 11th or so. This QR code will allow you to look at the eligibility, learn a little bit more about the program, and start the online application. If you have any questions or need to reach me or want to talk further, you can reach me at info@executivealliance.org or directly at Rebecca, Rebecca, at executivealliance.org. So I will stop sharing my screen. I'll also stop the recording, and we'll switch to Q&A. So thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the Quick Start program.